The urban area, a place of cars, smog, street signage, and massive monoliths that we call buildings. But you have to wonder, do all these structures and cars and signs have an effect on the environment? Yes, they do. They have a weather effect called the urban heat island, which means that the urban area is hotter than its surrounding rural areas. What it does is heats up the whole urban area greater than the regular rural area. This is because of the black surfaces on the ground from asphalt and also from the heat put into the atmosphere from CO2 emissions. Now, why doesn't it happen in the rural areas? The rural areas have much, much more greenery, which takes in the heat and uses it to photosynthesize. This is good because it also creates oxygen, which also cools down the atmosphere. One of the greatest reasons why there is so much more heat in the cities than there is in the rural areas is because of the black tarmac, the black tops of the buildings, and they take in the heat and keep it. And when the heat is ultimately released, it goes into the atmosphere and heats up the area more, making people want to turn on their ACs, which heats up the atmosphere more because of CO2 emissions. The AC has to be turned on. It needs electricity, which tends to come from a coal-fired power plant. A huge, huge amount of CO2, which causes even more heat in the atmosphere. There are many ways to stop the urban heat island, but they all need to be used at once. We could plant more trees. We could get more white roofs and green roofs instead of dark, non-reflective roofs. The green roofs, by the way, are planted roofs, meaning that the plant takes in the heat and uses it to photosynthesize, rather than to push it back up into the atmosphere. And we could also turn off our devices just for a little while longer, and turn off that light bulb that you are too lazy to turn off in the garage. The urban heat island is a really dangerous thing. It can destroy a whole ecosystem. It causes the lesser chance of lesser weaker tornadoes, which means that we could get even greater horrible tornadoes like the one in Joplin, Missouri, and acidifies the ocean because of CO2. The urban heat island is also a contributor to global warming, a major risk for the modern world, and we could stop it every bit at a time, first by urban heat island, then stopping CO2 emissions, and eventually to decrease the population of the world. We can do this together, but you have to be willing to, or else it will never work.